month, you are going to experience great victory. Great victory. And most importantly, the victory of no longer being emotional. Hello, Capricorn. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen, and welcome to SeaGoat Secrets. Hello Capricorn, I'm Kristen and I'm a healer. In this video, you are going to get a full rundown of Capricorn energy for the month of October and how it affects you and your placements. I begin with the astrology and I end with a card reading. If at any point in this video you feel connected to me and you would like to become a client of mine, you can do so by joining this link here and also in the bio. I welcome you. And as you all know, I am a global citizen and I love connecting with all of you on a worldly and global level. So if you have not already, let me know where you're listening from and we can all connect and be a strong collective. Now, with all that being said, let's get into this. All right, so Capricorn, welcome to October. This month is pretty jam-packed, I will say. I've got a lot of information for you. It's pretty extensive, mainly because October, in general, as we're sitting in the Capricorn Pluto, I feel very like there's a lot that I need to say. There's a lot that I need to tell you. There's a lot going on. It's just such a transformational time for the entire collective, but most importantly for you and what it is that you're doing, what it is that you need to keep up with, who it is that you need to be, for yourself, and how to get on top of and in control of this transformation and this transition. So number one, I would say that my theme when it comes to October is about career. It's about an increase in status. It's about an increase in your finances. We're going to go into the reflections of September, but I just wanted to kind of give that theme. Let's get into September and let's break down some of the reflections for September. I hope you guys can see me. I think I'm in a kind of a weird position. So when we look at the reflections for September was an interesting month because it was about a lot of transformation. In general, of course, because when we're looking at the Capricorn Pluto, things are about change and transformation. But September was beautiful because it was about the kind of transitions that were very abrupt. Some of you, those abrupt changes, especially at the beginning of September, could have been surprises that you weren't happy about, surprises that might have been a little bit painful, or surprises that might have been very difficult. But they were surprises nonetheless in order to push you forward. A lot of movement happened for you guys in September. And it was this interesting energy of having to kind of look at the bright side, even though there are things that are still imbalanced or things that you don't necessarily have full control over, but seeing this like interesting serendipity or kindness kind of kiss from the universe, in that sense, from the divine kind of kissing you despite how things may be. A lot of you could have dealt with your mind, really, your mind being a big struggle for you in terms of it's interesting because I talked about it in the rest of the year reading, which is like how in September the mind over matter, in that sense, where your own anxieties could find you kind of sitting in your own way throughout the month of September. Also, some of you guys could have found yourselves being a little lethargic as well, mainly induced by what's going on in your head. If you were letting your anxieties or your thoughts kind of override you a little bit, what it is that you felt like you couldn't control. Mainly because if you were pushed forward in a positive way, what you felt like you couldn't control could have caused a lot of anxiety. The things that you want to get a full grasp on could have been causing difficulty in the mind, mainly because you guys have dealt with so much, and whatever wheel turns, it's like wanting the wheel to fully turn, but the wheel doesn't fully turn, and this kind of interesting back and forth. And that was what was going on throughout the month of September. And in the rest of the 2024 video, we talked about that, trying to see the brighter side, even if your glasses only see the dark, in that sense. I would say in terms of your finances, you guys, depending on where you sit on the spectrum, some of you could have seen a major financial increase, but it was more like a stability increase. So a stability increase does not necessarily have to be financial. It could have been in many other ways. Whereas maybe your finances could have been at a halt, mainly because of the transits. I keep saying mainly, I'm sorry. But some of the transits that were going on in the middle of the month of September, mainly toward the end, had this, well, we're still in September when I'm recording this. So understand that I'm just speaking as if though we're already in October. Could have had a bit of a stagnancy in terms of your own energy and your own effort. Again, a little bit of lethargic kind of energy during that time. And that could have caused some interesting back and forths. Versus at the end of September, we see this beautiful push happen around the 26th, where we see a change in Mercury going into Libra, and that giving you a kickstart and an energy boost back into some progressive movements when it comes to your career. And so it's kind of, this darkest before dawn, or kind of dragging your feet before getting your momentum back. And that's kind of September in that sense. It's things feeling a little lucky and a little lazy. Especially in terms of you in that sense. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're at the beginning of your Pluto return, and it's also in retrograde. So the retrograde energy happening throughout September is a part of the reason why there is this back and forth, progressive, but then might be lethargic, a lot of ambition, but then it might level out, seeing forward movement, but then also seeing halts, thinking you're going to get exactly what it is that you want, but then there's like something stopping it. So it's a lot of that has to do with the Pluto retrograde, and the Pluto retrograde is in your first house, obviously. So it's saying to you what it is that you want to do, who is it that you want to be, and then it's more about amplifying your ideas or the clarity on self through resistance, through luck and resistance. So movement because of the Virgo energy, but also the resistance of the retrograde energy. And those things kind of battling up with each other, and that causing an interesting dynamic for you for September. And that's why, as we lead into October, this energy is going to take a huge change. And so it's, I would say, bask in some of the relaxed energy in September. Take the time to, if you're watching this in September, take the remainder of the time to kind of journal if you can, really figure out what it is that you want to do, and understand your ideas and your projections, because October brings you a very strong kick in your energy, especially when it comes to progressing in the world. Okay, so let's go into October. In the first week of October, we've got some big business movements happening. We have money increase. This is what I like to call get the gig. And this is coming right out of the gate in terms of October. Because of the transit, we see this, this serendipity tied to you being able to, get the gig. So if you work for yourself, it's seeing your ideas come into fruition, seeing your ideas prospering. You guys can be getting a lot of clients. There's a huge work increase. Business is booming. For you guys who want a job, who are looking for a position, this is a great time in the beginning of October. Again, kickstart, just coming in with all of this energy, feeling much more confident about who it is that you are as you're in this retrograde, and feeling more like you can get what it is that you desire, mainly because of the way September kind of treated you emotionally. And in ways that it tested you too. Like I said, lethargic and luck, right? This laziness and luck. So in a way, the way September didn't give you what it is that you want, that you're hungry for, and then the things that you were able to acquire kind of being the thing that's backing you up. So that's what we see in the beginning of the week. We also have that huge new moon eclipse happening in Libra in the same week. So the combination of Mercury going into Libra along with this big eclipse is a huge deal, especially as Venus is still sitting in Scorpio. So this is all about 10th house activation for you, big 10th house activation. So you want to see a renewal in who it is that you are, how you show up in the world, and how the world sees you. So this has you sitting there looking at yourself and saying, okay, I want my career to look like this. I want my public image to be like this. I want my status to be reflective in this way. Like I said, you have the energy to back it up. So there's a major increase in your ambition to be able to get this work done. A lot of confidence in terms of you looking at, I need to renew my identity, right? I need to be more serious about who it is that I am in the world. And this has everything to do with your Pluto still being in Capricorn in that sense. With all of this 10th house activation, it's saying that you need to be in charge of your social identity. You need to be in charge of who it is that you are. Your status in the world is under your control. It is under your governance. And it is for you to put in the effort for it. And this new moon is giving you all the momentum and backing you up in terms of this energy, which is great. Another thing, and so this is not a career reading, of course. This is the personal reading. But it's just, there's so much career activation happening in October. So the career reading will be very interesting. But obviously this is your personal reading. So I'm going to root it back in and say that this is all about, again, when I say your status in the world, for your personal, it's about your identity. Okay? I don't know if I've been emphasizing that enough. It's about your identity. It's about your character. It's about your integrity. It's about your belief systems. It's about who you want to represent yourself as. You are in charge of self, right? With Pluto in your first house and Libra activating the Capricorn house, the 10th house, it's like this, it's like you're standing taller and you want to be who you truly are. And you don't want to be misconstrued. You don't want to deal with miscommunication, kind of like what we talked about in the Pisces video, the Pisces full moon video, where it was like the end of miscommunications, the end of not being seen properly, the illusion around yourself. That has been removed from you. It's like the clouds have separated and you want to be very clear in terms of how the world sees you and how the world perceives you, mainly because it's reflective of who it is that you truly are and who it is that you want to be and the footprint that you want to create, your identity, you know? So it's beautiful in terms of this first week coming in, giving you all of this push in terms of your identity. But Pluto is still in retrograde here, so resistance will find you. So where you have this kickstart in self, there are things that can be hurting you to help you in that sense. Memories that could be haunting you. Times when you felt like you didn't represent yourself properly. The things in your life that are not completely together being the things that are pushing you to want to make sure that they're ideal or they're perfect, closest thing to perfect, right? Or that you can get in charge of them or on top of them. When we look at Venus still sitting in Scorpio in that first week as well, you are in a space where, you know, kind of like where I said, get the job, get the gig, right? This is not the career reading. Getting the job and getting the gig is about, again, how you feel about yourself. You want to work in a way that is reflective of your truest, most authentic and most confident self. When we see Venus still sitting in Scorpio, it's activating your 11th house, and you want people to see you and understand you for who you really are. It's increasing your socialization in terms of realizing the quality of your connections, and that in your connections, you expand, you can grow. A lot of you have been dealing with hermit mode throughout the years. You've gone through your transition and slowly have been wanting to socialize more, and this will increase as October happens, but it's because you're beginning to realize that your connections are reflective of you and that you can gain a lot of energy through other people, and that other people can pour into you at the same rate that maybe in the past you've poured into others and obviously ran into oppositions as Pluto was trying to test you and or change you. This time it's beginning to get you to understand whatever environments that you're in, especially in that first week, as you're standing taller, as people are seeing you clearer and your energy is brighter, you're gaining momentum and you're gaining energy from other people in their eyes and their desire to deepen their their connections with you because they're seeing you through a viewpoint of status. So as we go into the second week, we've got a lot of Capricorn, right? So Pluto finally goes direct in the second week. And we also have the first quarter moon in Capricorn and Jupiter beautifully sextiling with Gemini in Aries. So again, when we look at the first quarter moon in combination with the Pluto going direct, this is about, again, you being able to all systems go your identity. So where the first week, it was more about how you yourself are reflective in the spaces around you or how people are seeing you, you're getting a major boost of internal confidence and internal self-revelation, realization in the second week. And it's almost like giving birth to a whole new sense of I would say an empowered solar plex in that sense, feeling not necessarily on fire, but feeling very bright, right? A lot of I am presence happening in the second week. And whatever resistance that was coming into, the insecurities that have been finding you, are you worth it? Are you not worth it? What's your value? Who are you really? All the questions that you were asking in the first week, as again, this boost in status always comes with insecurity, right? As you increase your confidence, your insecurities are going to find you too. So all of that questioning of self, can you really do it? Are you doing this right? Are people seeing you clearly? Does this environment really love you? Kind of gets washed away in the second week as you see yourself through a better lens and as you understand yourself clearer. The second week is shining bright on you and saying, no more resistance, okay? You're direct now. You've got this now. And now it's time to show them that you've got this. Again, not necessarily for the ego, but if you want to do that, there's nothing wrong with having an healthy ego. But it's more like, again, you're showing yourself, you're proving it to yourself that you can do this, that you can be this, that this identity that you hold, this presence that you hold is truly yours and it is authentic to you. The second week as well has the past coming back. So where Pluto goes direct, it's bringing you into a space where you can remember. So the past doesn't have to be a difficult thing. You're empowered this time around. So if people in the past show up, and like I said, we'll go deeper in that in the career and love readings, you know how to handle it. Whatever obstacles are in front of you, you can handle them. You're feeling confident. You're feeling more powerful. You've learned through your lessons that have been difficult, that have been painful. The school of hard knocks has taught you a lot. And as the second week comes in, this sextile between the two is saying, okay, I can take all of those things that I thought happened for no reason, that were difficult and painful and frustrating, and actually I realized now that it's made me stronger, it's made me better, it's made me more powerful, right? More aware of the self. And you have everything that it takes to become this person that you see yourself becoming, to finalize your transformation in that sense, to show the world your true, I was going to say your true north, but it can be, because your true north is your purpose. So true north, I'm going to go with it because it rolled off the tongue. Yeah, show the world that you're true north in that sense. Show them what you've got. And this is, again, the way that what you've gone through already being the thing that's coming in and giving you the refuge that you deserve. What it is that you've gone through already coming in and being the lesson plan, right? The textbook that you're taking your information from. Also in a beautiful way as well, not just the school of hard knocks, but your old self, your old ideas, your old style as well. And in very simple terms, you can, want to bring in things that you used to from the past, like I can just speak for myself. I used to wear more like spikes and, chains and darker clothes, so it's like bringing back that old style in that sense. My style was more gothic in the past. Some of you can find yourselves revisiting self, feeling more revitalized in who it is you are and more confident in who it is that you are. So you're bringing back old aspects of yourself. And it's something that you actually know how to utilize very well and work with very well. which is very effective this time around, which feels really good. It's that second chance energy that is this Pluto return. It's this time around you can do it and do it well. This time around it can serve in your favor. This time around it's not going to go in vain, basically. So when we look at the third week, we've got the Mercury going into Scorpio. We've got the full moon entering Aries, and we also have Venus entering Sagittarius. So this is great, again, when we look at you expanding your network. So you're more confident. You're feeling better about who it is that you are, and you want to show it. You want to express it. You want to connect with people. But there's a lot going on with your boundaries this week. So it's beautiful because we see how, again, what you've learned through your experiences, you know you won't repeat the past. You know you won't repeat some of the difficult things that you've gone through before. And so it's socializing with more confidence, with more resolve, I know I keep saying confidence, but it's because it's so much deeper, right? For Capricorn, confidence is so deep because a lot of people can test you guys' confidence, and it's mainly because you sit as big Cappy. Even if you want to have a small energy, you gotta have a big one. So you can go through a lot of sometimes bullying, like I've talked about in the past, or people trying to pick away at you in that sense, because you guys are so good at having external things. That to have both internal and external can kind of feel like, well, why do you deserve to have all that? But this time around, you know that you deserve to have all of it because it's something that was earned, and you know how not to fall in the same traps. You know how not to socialize with the wrong crowds or socialize with the wrong people. These lessons were lessons that you learned the hard way. And so as you're stepping into this Scorpion energy, you really want to connect, but you want to connect as authentically and as honest as possible. You want to feel empowered. And like we said in the beginning of the month, poured into by your relationships, poured into by your connections. In the beginning of the month, it's more of a sense of having people who support what it is that you do. You will find yourself looking for that support mostly in your work sector, versus in the third week, it's finding that support in all sectors, in all of your friendship dynamics, your networking dynamics. But again, socializing with boundaries. What is also beautiful in terms of this third week is we have a full moon happening in Aries, which is great because it's about healing the mother wound, which is wonderful. So we've been talking so much about the mother wound on and off because Chiron has been in Aries, and this full moon puts a big end to all of the subjects around, I call it just the mother wound because it's the fourth house, but home, anything that is related to home in the body. Right? Home in the body, the mother wound, family of origin. It's putting an end to that. So if we look back at what was happening in the month of April around the Aries new moon, in terms of you trying to figure out what it is that you want for yourself. A lot of you guys were thinking about moving, where you wanted to live, the kind of ideal neighborhood, the kind of ideal home, wanting to heal your relationship with your family of origin. This third week can have you healing that relationship, whether you're going out of your way to do it or whether they are going out of their way to do it with you. It's you just wanting to put an end and a close to some of these very difficult matters that have been following you. If it is with your family directly, having those conversations and those communications, but again, coming from a stronger, more confident, more empowered place, more of a self-loving place. And your status can speak for itself this time around. Whereas for many of you, it could have been that you were running with imbalances tied to your family of origin because of the way they viewed you, versus this time around you kind of can back up your bite in that sense. And if it's not family, then it is, again, where you live, your home in the body, feeling more at peace where it is that you are. You guys can find yourself decorating your home. If you've moved, feeling really comfortable in your space, finalizing whatever details that you need to finalize, signing off whatever it is you need to sign off, or just, again, getting prepared for the winter. Well, we're in autumn, I guess, in October, but preparing for the change in season. We get really cozy and very cuddly around this time because the weather is going to shift in certain parts of the world. The weather is going to shift, and as it goes through that shift, if it is in fact getting colder, then it's, wanting to settle in and really feeling spacious in this where it is that you live, and really feeling cozy, and like you can finally put in a close to this Chiron energy. Chiron is in its last chapter of Aries. In the beginning of next year, it'll be out of Aries. And thankfully, it's been there for so long. So finally being able to go through its end point. Obviously, Chiron is not leaving until the beginning of next year, like I said. So there's still more to be had here. There's still more to understand. Could be, again, paperwork, whatever it is that you need to do. But it's putting an end to these bigger themes around that energy. The themes that can feel painful or traumatic or difficult. And yeah, cozying up, which is nice. So we see that happening in the third week. And then we also see Venus entering Sagittarius. So this is big because Sagittarius is your 12th house, okay? So this is all about your subconscious. It's your spiritual body, spiritual matters. You guys, especially when we're looking at your home, you can find yourselves really having a beautiful spiritual relationship with your home, wanting to, like I said, cozy up. So the home becomes a sanctuary at this time, especially for those of you who have run into a lot of trauma tied to your home environment, trying to sell your home, trying to move, trying to fix whatever's going on in your relationship or your marriage, trying to heal family relationships. It's that beautiful energy comes in and it says, this peaceful, restorative, healing kind of energy, a healed energy, really wanting to pamper the self, feel good within the self, and again, create sanctuary out of whatever home means for you, which is very good. Again, a lot awakening in terms of the subconscious mind to your spiritual body, and really understanding that what it is that you've gone through up until this point was divinely guided. So it's like all of these downloads kind of coming into you. This energy is very nice. It brings in luck. It brings in fantasy, but then it also brings in, again, a lot of clarity. So this revitalized, very nice, smooth kind of energy, especially because Venus has been in Scorpio, and Scorpio is dark. Scorpio is good because it trines with you as a Capricorn, but it's a heavy energy. Trines are not always so easy on the eyes, So when it steps into Sagittarius, it lightens things up, and things feel more expansive, and again, just more cozy, more loving in that sense. Another thing as well is a big luck increase tied to, we're going to expand on this in the career reading, but spiritual matters. So the deeper you dive into your spiritual comforts, your spiritual sense of self, your body, your spiritual body, the more you will gain. Okay, so investing in these things will see great return, healing the self, deeper connection with the divine, really appreciating your journey, as difficult as it has been, as troublesome as it has been. This third week comes in a very nice way and says, School of Hard Knocks was a hard graduation, but it's very, very, something about that certificate, I guess, goes down like brandy, because it's something that is hard earned, and it brought a lot of transformation, and it brought a lot of growth, and it brought a lot of beauty, So we go into the fourth week. Oh, and another thing as well for the third week, like we keep talking about with boundaries, again, really wanting to be respected for your spiritual beliefs, and wanting to honor and respect and value the things that make you feel the most at peace and honorable in your own space or your own quarters, in that sense, or honored. When we look into the fourth week, we see the sun going into Scorpio, and we have the last quarter moon happening in Leo. And at this point, now we've exited Libra season. So we're out of 10th house. We're out of the big 10th house status base, who you are in the world, your identity, Again, all the big things that are happening tied to this 10th house activation, and how you will change and how you will show the world that you've changed. We go into Scorpio as the sun goes here. Again, you are connecting more. So people have seen you. They've seen what you've done. They see who you are. You know, they're seeing you very clearly, and how you're showing up, and they want to connect. They kind of want to, everybody wants a piece of you as the sun goes into Scorpio. But with the sun going into Scorpio, along with the quarter moon in Leo, it's kind of like you're taking your priorities over your pleasures. So being very, like we saw in the third week, being very strategic about who you are around. You've learned those lessons, and you've learned them well. And you really want to make sure that your social circles or your networks are things that pour into you, pour into your soul. As Venus is still in Sagittarius, pour into your spirit. Who makes you feel spiritually good, spiritually abundant, you know, who's really giving you a peaceful sense of self in that I guess, way in the last week, and knowing what is considered a waste of time and what is a good time spent, right? Who is really for you and who isn't. And again, where you are investing in, especially social media. Some of you can go through a social media cleanse. You are going to be controlling your social identity a lot throughout the month of October and the end of October. Again, as more people come in, a lot of you guys can see a major social media increase, but we're going to talk about that in the career reading. You really want to be very authentic and very particular in this sense. As we end October in general, October kind of has 5 weeks in a way, because it is 31 days, and the way it's broken up, it's almost like 5 weeks. So I would just say, as we end October, you're ending it on a good note, feeling very good. There can be some shocking news or some big revelations. Feeling good. There can be some big revelations happening in the last week or so, mainly because of the transits. There is an interesting trine happening, so something that can be very out there, crazy, might be shocking, but it's something that is progressive because it's a trine. So something that can be very good, something that you may be happy about. Finishing off October very well and putting you into November feeling much more stable. By the time you end October, you're going to feel stable and you're going to feel seen, which is nice, but it doesn't mean it's not hard earned, right? There's a lot of hustle in October, and you have to put in a lot of hustle to end the past, again, because like we said, the past is showing up, especially as the second week happens, as Capricorn goes into direct, and you are in the driver's seat in terms of finalizing things. So paperwork, contracts, legal matters, cleaning up old relationships, cleaning up old insecurities, okay? So all of these things that require you to really put your big person pants on. This is what happens throughout the month of October, but it's not something that has to be painful. It's actually something that for you can be really easy in that sense. You just have to face your fears and walk right into them with a more optimistic perspective. More than anything, I would say the suffering is more people around you and how they feel about you and the relationships you may end, or the feelings you may hurt by showing up the way that you are, by seemingly changing in that sense, but really just being more authentic to who it is that you are. So yeah, and new social circle by the end of the month as well. So if the old social circle is gone, then they're gone, and people are seeing that you are boundaried and kind of relentless in terms of your truth in that sense. I would say October is an expansion of you in a very, very big way. It feels like a burst of self right? Doesn't mean you're not dealing with issues, but it's just you're handling them better because you're coming from a space of more self-authority, okay? So that's what I've got for you for the astrology. It's getting quite dark, so I'm going to end it. As much as I want to get deeper into this, I'm going to get into the reading now. All right, so Capricorn, let's get into this. So what we see going on in terms of the subject, we've got the moon in reverse along with the chariot upright and the Six of Pentacles. I would say this moon in the reverse feels like a little bit of a lessened energy than the chariot, all the while still being quite powerful. I mean, we've got two major arcanas here, right? Backed up by the Six of Pence and clarified both by Coffin and Golden Mirror. More than anything, this feels like stepping out of a place of worry, very bluntly. Getting out of your head, getting out of anxiety, getting out of overthinking, getting out of like the consumption of the mind and this kind of eeriness, almost like imaginary kind of energy. I imagine many of you have been in your heads with whatever, again, worries, thoughts, perspectives, that have been going on, and October offers you the ability to get out of that, but getting out of that through a more practical manner, right? We've got the chariot here. The chariot is great because the chariot, is showing that you're going to be going through a triumphant victory where there are endings, there is new beginnings, right? We've got growth and liberation here, transition, transformation, wonderful. You are dying to be reborn, right? You're stepping out of this space of this elusive moon, of this. It just feels very eerie. It feels like a lot of subconscious activation, a lot of things kind of going on in the mind, regardless of what is happening on the outside, which we talked about in the astrology, I guess, in terms of the September reflection. So it doesn't surprise me to see this here. But when we look at the chariot, it's pushing through, it's powering through. And the storm is similar here, right? We've got this gray going on in both places, this eeriness, but it's like stepping out of it and your interconnectedness. So it's like, who is for you, who is against you? What are you investing in that invests back into you? This is your base here. This is your bare bone. This is your center point. This is your feet. This is at your ground. What are you stepping into that gives back to you so that you can triumph? So you can break through. With this being your personal reading, again, it's like, what subconscious thoughts, what belief systems, what have you been investing in that'll transition you, giving only to what gives to you, pouring into only what pours back into you. And that is where you'll witness triumph. That is where you'll witness transformation. We see here with the golden mirror, in your shadow, we've got the full origin in reverse, along with the Eight of Cowrie in reverse. So again, this fear of like not being able to start new, not being able to start at zero, not being able to start at the beginning. Also worried here that your work will not prevail, you will not prevail. When I see this accompanied with this golden mirror card here, it feels like, again, this like, are you stuck? Are you stuck? Is the past going to let go? Are you, are you in a place where you can get this liberation? This new beginning, because you're fearing that you can't. You're fearing that you won't be able to do that, and that all your hard work has gone in vain. Obviously, what you're dealing with is this, right? You're seeing reflected back to you these one-sided relationships. Although this is your personal reading, this is what's going on in your subconscious, right? Like, where where you support people that do not support you, where you have been giving into situations, obviously what's going on internally that says you are undeserving of that which gives back to you, right? I didn't even realize that. Right next to it is the Six of Pentacles, which is the exact opposite energy, right? The one-sided connection, the one-sided relationship, love bombing, etc., is all about what gives to them, what gives to the other. Versus the Six of Pentacles is an equal give and take. Who gives to you, who gives back, right? Where we are meeting in the middle, where we are meeting at this equilibrium. The thing about October as well is you guys are going through a major relationship renewal. I don't know if I emphasize that enough in terms of your astrology, but relationship renewal on a multitude of scales. It's like, yes, we talk about 10th house activation, we talk about a status increase, but it's still Libra. Your old social paradigm is dying off. And I've been talking about this in terms of Pluto, right? It's like you are killing off your old self. Ooh, unaliving. Sorry. Unaliving your old self because of Pluto. Pluto is bringing you back into a space of death in order to bring you back into a rebirth, right? This coffin experience. Endings bring about new beginnings. Throughout October, you're going through a lot of endings to liberate yourself. And it's putting you out of the space of the moon, that eeriness, that anxiety, that it's like this, almost like a doldrums kind of like flat line kind of energy, like worried about so many things, like as if it's like depression as well, like things that are consuming you. But it's like you're finally getting out of that. You're triumphing through all of these endings bring about liberation. You close that door, you end that relationship, boom, you liberate. You end this other relationship, but it's almost like that feeling that you get. I don't know, if you're cleaning your house and you throw out all these old things, you get this rebirth feeling, like, oh, you feel so liberated. You feel like you can renew yourself. You cut off your limbs, you cut the dead ends of your hair, right? And then you feel like you can grow again. And it is this really beautiful, triumphant energy, because it's like when we're looking at the Chariot, this feels like a major emotional liberation, like getting out of this heavy place into big emotional liberating energy. And what's backing you up, again, is this beautiful Six of Pentacles, because you're getting out of this. You're getting out of these one-sided relationships, this one-sided energy, right? Like where at work, it's you doing so much and it's not coming back to you. In love, it's you doing so much and not coming back to you. Family, it's the things that are going inside of your subconscious that are overgiving, that may be oversharing, where you are not being valued, utilized, or appreciated at the rate at which you should be. But it's like takers. This is where you are finding your triumph. This is where you are pushing through. And what's beautiful about the Chariot as well is because it's this Cancerian energy. And with it being Cancerian, it's like, again, emotional liberation, being able to nurture the self. It's like through this self-nurturing, boom, progression, right? And this is great. It's like the social paradigm ending, right? The paradigm as you know it, tied to the things that drain you. In your spiritual advice, we've got diving for light and listening for the truth. Yeah, who stays and who goes? What stays and what goes? Do they deserve it? Do they deserve you? That's how you get better at wielding the sword and deciphering how to make sure that you are not involving yourself in a golden mirror. Looking for the light, but not just in the sense of not in a naive space. This is not the month for idealism. This is not the month for seeing the light in the dark or choosing to see the better parts of someone, or that, the Capricornian hard work energy, which is a part of the reason why Capricorn energy, when you guys are on the lighter side, when you are, or light workers, you can become overgivers, because and can end up getting used at such an extreme degree, because what will happen is the ability to see potential in everything is the beauty of Capricorn. You guys are the sign of potentiality, right? Pure potentiality. Chapter 1, 7 Spiritual Guides to Success, Pure Potentiality. You guys know the power of pure potentiality. And you can see the beauty in things. You can see what someone can be, what something can become. And because you are this magician, you guys know how to alchemize energy, right? You're Saturn. You know how to take what is unseen and make it seen. What is unrealized, make it realized. You can turn dreams into a permanent reality, right? So the ability to, when you heighten your vibration, the ability to dive for light and again see the best in people and see the best in situations can oftentimes work against you, right? This is not the month for the Capricorn idealism, which is, you know, the hard worker that says, oh, this can be restored, this relationship can be renewed, or I can keep working this position, or I can see beyond this situation. Because of what's going on with Pluto in specific, again, there's a lot of stuff happening with you guys socially this month. The love reading, I think, is going to be very interesting because of that. Like I mentioned earlier, you might see people coming back. Well, you will see people coming back into your life. Like what I mentioned with the Pluto retrograde video, people are seeing you. New people are seeing you. Old people are seeing you in a new light. All eyes are on you in that sense. And it's like, this is not the time to be idealistic and choosing to see potential in places where there isn't any. You're diving for light, but you're diving for light in a way where you're understanding what truly is lit versus where you're choosing to see light where there maybe isn't, or if it's buried under so much rubble that the person, place, or thing has no desire to ever actually bring it out, to ever reach its potential, right? So you're swimming into the depths of what it is that you can find for yourself, but what feeds you and not necessarily what feeds someone else, right? That's where you change the paradigm. That's how you have equal and balanced connections, equal and balanced situations, financially, work-wise. However this pans out on your external, you are no longer in one-sided dynamics. This can include, again, if we're looking at things financially, one-sided relationships financially, are you investing in something that doesn't invest back into you? If you have a gym membership but you don't use it, if you are tied to a loan that that takes more from you than it gives to you, if you are working a job or a position that drains you to such an extreme degree that you feel like you are not getting a bang for your buck, right? There's no extra breathing room for anything. People who may be living off you, different situations that are not actually giving back to you, they're just taking, you know. You go into this space where diving for light, as in diving for the light that serves you, is important for this month. This is how you elevate. This is how you transform this energy, stepping out of this energy, okay? And you can finally get this new beginning that you're so afraid won't happen for you. Because a lot of you guys want to start at zero. You're tired of the past. You're tired of karmic cycles. You're tired of the same thing weighing you down. You're tired of feeling stuck. You know, it's been a long road and you want to start at zero. You want to feel like you're beginning again with no baggage and no weight, right? And that your hard work hasn't gone in vain. But it's just a worry. It's just an anxiety. Obviously, because we see the Fool here as a major arcana, that's a pretty big anxiety point. You know, that's a lot of stress on the mind more than anything, because the Fool is air. Listen for the truth. Does it serve you as equally as you will serve it? Pay attention. Feel it. When we look at the healing point here, I'll start with the beginning. All right, so this is a water energy. The spiritual world wants to help you resolve your worldly concerns. It is safe for you to rely on spirit as a loving, protective, helpful, and practical presence able to positively affect all areas of your life, including facilitating the resolution of physical problems. Yeah, the resolution, the end. Endings bringing about new beginnings, finding liberation, triumphing through. Stepping out of this anxiety about the things that have been weighing on you in terms of worldly problems, that have been sitting on your neck, basically. Do not limit your spirituality to concepts. Instead, apply your higher knowledge and principles. Grow your wisdom and live your path. Acknowledge your value as a person, as a soul. Treasure the gift of your path and let your spirituality integrate in all facets of your life. Yeah, this is beautiful because, again, when I was saying this emotional renewal, it's all about like getting out of this space of anxiety. And when we see Shekinah, it's all about understanding the divine wants to take control here, right? But it's about you being able to control your own mind. Worry does not help you. And the more you're sitting in a space of worry and anxiety and overwhelm, it's not serving you. It's keeping you trapped and it's keeping you stuck. You're being given the opportunity to liberate, but a lot of this is not necessarily done by your own hands. This energy right now for the month of October, for you on a personal level, is not actually you doing very much work. This triumph feels very organic. Kind of like what we saw in September, right? A lot of organic movement, a lot of serendipity in that sense. This feels a lot more like that in terms of your own internal efforts not having to be very much. Your job for October is to simply pay attention and listen in. Understand what serves you and what doesn't. This is about you existing in a reality that's more hands-off. If you have to do too much, it's not worth it. If you're giving 60 or 70 and it's giving back to you 30, let it go. Listen to what it is that people are saying. Read the fine print. Do not invest in it if it does not equally invest in you. This does not require, again, a heavy amount of effort. I don't see here, and even this moon going in reverse doesn't feel like something that you are doing where you're putting in the muscle to control your mind. It's happening organically. You know, it's showing up in a way that's more seamless, like this kind of natural experience moving you through, I guess. The things are being resolved in a way that it's grander than you are, or not grander, I apologize, but yeah, grander, bigger than you, bigger than you. Your job here is to just have discernment. Discerning eyes. And that is backed up here because what we see next is the air energy, water and air. Again, gentle. There is a gentler way to proceed and obtain the same or even greater effect. Yeah. So even though we have the chariot, and the beautiful thing, like I will finish reading this, but the beautiful thing about the chariot, like I said, when it comes to this Cancerian energy, this does not feel like you are putting in a fight to win a victory. It feels emotional. It feels, it's so, yes, it's emotional. I was just going to say internal, but it's not just internal, because internal can mean many different things. This is more about emotional navigation. Self-nurture. You are getting victory. You are triumphing, but you're doing it in a way that is more, dare I say, passive. Right? It's about like sitting, listening, learning, and having discernment. Tame the wild and frenzied workings of the mind by grounding yourself with beauty, pleasure, and grace. Yeah, we see backed up here with the moon in reverse. Violence and its negative effects shall be overcome and healed through feminine gentleness and the inner spiritual strength. This oracle is the sign of a great future happiness. Yeah, it goes back to the same thing. Both of these back you up in terms of your worldly concerns being able to be healed from a perspective that is not about you going on the ground floor and putting in a dirty fight. This is a big emotional release, a big emotional renewal. And that is what's bringing about triumph. And I always love when I see this card here about gentleness, because it's an affirming energy that lets you know that you're going to be okay. You know, worldly concerns being healed that are greater than you, right? Like, again, that whole feeling of it's going to be all right. It's already working out. You just breathe, you know. This is not a time for war. And it's good for you guys because, again, you know, you've been through so much and you've dealt with so much. But like I mentioned before, this Pluto retrograde is not the easiest thing, but it's also not here to break you in the way that it has been in the past. It's a more fluid growth in that sense. But it doesn't mean, like, again, that you're not dealing with things that are worrying you here, because obviously you're worried that you won't be able to start over and that all of this has gone in vain. Be easy with yourself, okay? There are people who are here to help you. These energies outside of you want to help you. They want to serve you. You just need to have discernment. It's already working out in a way that is grander, and there's a gentler way. So if you think, oh, I have to do all of these things, and if it's not working out in this, let's say it's a fight, let's a legal fight, and you think you have to do it this way, and trying to do it in a way that is more aggressive seems to be failing, take a deep breath. It can be as simple as someone coming out of the woodworks and making this situation a lot easier than you anticipated. One simple decision, outside help. And then you can take a deep breath and not have to be the person carrying everything, taking on everything, playing every role. It's allowing yourself to be seen, felt, and helped. At the bottom of the advice deck, we've got spirals of manifestation that came in as well with following your own rhythm. So again, a lot of growth. Through listening, through paying attention, again, diving into greater expansion of where is the positive here? Where is there beauty underneath what it is that you're seeing? Trying to find the light in every situation and listen in. That brings about spirals of manifestation. There's a lot of growth here. This chariot feels like big growth. It feels like the growth of liberation, transition, transformation, ending a paradigm. There's a lot of movement here. You have to do it your way. You have to release the desire to do it in a more aggressive way, and just do it in a way that's more, I guess, organically you, right? We look at the bottom of the tarot, we've got the beautiful sun, okay? Bright, strong, coming in on a horse like it does, it's like gorgeous, the sun. So the sun is here illuminating this energy as a positive omen coming in. And it's interesting because the sun being the opposite of the moon, right? It's like coming in and saying, like, you are going to be just fine. There is beauty here. There is grace here. There's positive movement here. There is liberation here. The illumination of light. Stepping out of this moon into this chariot and allowing those who are here to actually help and serve you is what brings about this beautiful sun liberating energy. Light. A gentler way. Violence being able to be overcome by a gentler way. And at the bottom of the clarification deck, I saw lightning, and in the back there came out as outdated thinking, conditioning, right? And that doesn't surprise me, because when we're looking at lightning, we're seeing sudden change, transformation, right? That's no surprise, because where there is this much growth, you can be surprised with the way things can work out in your favor. Or again, something that you thought was going to be like a big crashing wave actually turns out to feel good. And when we see cassette backing that up, it's outdated thinking, conditioning. It's like, how much of your worry and your strain is because of the things that you've gone through? The things weighing on your mind have been the past, replaying over and over in your head, and you're prepared. And it's almost like replaying things, it makes you feel like you're more prepared for what will happen right now. You're prepared for something big. You're prepared for the big crash. But there is so much here saying that it's not necessary. There's just illumination here. Let there be light, right? And at the bottom of the healing point, we have anapasis. And that's another water energy. Do not give up, but allow your heart to disengage from your struggles. Yeah, it's the same narrative over and over again. It's like stepping out of worry, stepping out of anxiety, stepping out of fear. That is your triumph. Emotional navigation is your triumph. when the Cancer becomes empowered through emotional control, emotional dominance, healing, liberation, gentleness, right? That's one of the main elements of empowered Cancerian energy, is knowing the power of gentleness, the power of water. Give yourself much needed rest. You are in a phase of recovery. And I think that's no surprise when we look at outdated thinking as well, because a lot of this is induced by trauma. A lot of this is induced by a lot of the things that you guys have gone through, the steps that you've taken that have led you here. If you have been off your path, you are going to come back strong. You regain your spark of passion, inspiration, and devotion. And I think that's a big thing here. Again, when we see this Chariot, because this moon, like I started to say in the beginning, could have caused a lot of kind of imbalance with the self because of the way this has been dominating you, the things going on in your mind. A certain order of events needs to take place for your soul path to come into fruition. Commit yourself to your sacred journey, trusting that the right thing will happen at the right time. So again, we see this dance tied around divine timing. Just relax. Just take a deep breath. Easy does it. It's all working out. Just breathe. It's like step by step, you're getting out of it. You're getting out of it. It's changing. Let's get some clarity on what it is that you need to be feeling. Yep. Feeling, thinking, knowing. Ooh, knowing, thinking. Wow. All right. Yeah, it's that's beautiful. That's really reassuring. So what is it that you need to be feeling? Is it temperance? This is the major arcana here. Again, it's a feeling of peace and balance. We've got, along with this gentle energy and your worldly concerns being handled by the divine, it's like, just be easy. Just breathe. Just relax. There's an equilibrium here. There's an equilibrium here. There's a give and take here. There's balance here. There's a lot of healing and a lot of restoration here. Just a centered, again, balanced energy within the self. That's where you need to be. That's what you need to be feeling all month. So regardless of what's showing up in front of you, right? If you think that the wave is going to destroy you, it's a matter of knowing, no, just emotional control, emotional navigation. Worry, stress, and strain will not help you here. You're getting out of the paradigm of one-sided connections. Betrayal is also an example of that. When you experience betrayal, it's because betrayal comes from the other party prioritizing self, one-sided. So if you're afraid of being betrayed, if you're afraid of something not working out of your favor, people not understanding your side of something, just breathe, be easy, stay tempered. There's a gentler way to proceed. It's being handled. You just stay calm and stay quiet. Look for the light in all of these situations and pay attention to those who are paying attention to you. There are people here that are healing, that are helping you. What is it that you need to be thinking is the King of Wands? Again, a strong sense of confidence, empowerment. Feeling is the Queen of Wands. We've got a pair here. King of Wands here with the Queen of Wands. So again, you've got this. It's like, you got it. And that is backed up there with the Chariot. It's like you are going to win. You are going to triumph. You are going to experience great victory. Great, great victory. And most importantly, the victory of no longer being emotional. And most importantly, sorry, we cut off. Most importantly, the victory of no longer being able to experience emotional turmoil. Be confident. Be strong. You've got it. What is it you need to be thinking? Like I said, the King of Wands, you're empowered, you're the boss here. Feeling is the Queen of Wands. That's why I smiled initially, because the Queen of Wands is all about confidence. Feel very, very confident. Very much, and I like to make a joke where the Queen of Wands is confidence to a point of delusion, right? Delusional confidence. You've got it. You're going to get on the others. You're triumphing, all right? You're getting out of this. And most importantly, you're getting out of this paradigm, again, of things that no longer serve you, of whether it's people, places, things, decisions that are being made. It's an energy of one-sidedness that you are getting out of. Okay, so be confident, be strong, have balance within the self. Okay, Six of Pentacles, temperance energy, balance. It's all working out. Step into your King of Wands, step into your boss mode. You know that it's going to work for you. That it's your time to step out of a paradigm. To heal, transform, and grow. To win, most importantly. And to finally have people in your side, or I guess in your squad, that are for you. It's an end to the old. The coffin is here. It's done. The old is done. And this is how you build the new. Okay, so that's what I've got for you guys. I love you. Ciao.